Hi everyone, I'm Sebastian Gonzalez, and the book that I have chosen for my presentation is called Originals: How Nonconformists Move the World by Adam Grant. This book resonated with me on a personal level, and it also taught me a few things along the way. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. Introduction and highlighting the book. To start off, the book is written by author and professor Adam Grant, who specializes in organizational psychology. Some of his other popular works are Hidden Potential, The Science of Achieving Greater Things and Think Again, The Power of Knowing What You Don't Know. In this book, Grant highlights some of the most important innovators of our times, as well as laying out some of the core principles that interconnect these innovators and their paths. One of these are recognizing the importance of calculating the risk of embarking on a new project and ways to mitigate that risk from impacting your overall goal in a large way. Many of the innovators mentioned in the book knew the importance of taking calculated risks and not betting the farm on just one project. Another key component of achieving ambitious goals is grit and persistence. Grant singles this out as one of the most important ingredients in people who have changed the world. Finally, one more topic that I will cover at a high level regarding the book is the lack of originality in the modern workplace. Grant contends that companies who are not afraid to challenge corporate norms and do things differently are the ones who truly win in the long run. He points out specific examples such as Apple, Google, and Pixar to make his case. All in all, the book is just as inspirational as it is analytical. Grant covers some of the most impactful innovators of modern times and analyzes what made these individuals and companies tick. Moving on to what I personally learned from the book and my main takeaways. Those takeaways can be broken up into three different items. First, the people who could benefit from this book are not just once in a generation innovators. By summoning newfound inspiration and different ways of looking at the world, especially when it comes to improving it, we can push ourselves to do things we previously thought were not possible. These things can create a small but tangible positive impact on our environment and the people who are in our lives. Moving on to the second of my main takeaways is until I read this book, I was under the impression that most famous and well-known innovators were the boldest of risk takers and regularly put it all on the line. This turned out to be wrong, and the actual process is a lot simpler and more logical. And now, the last of my main takeaways is that I agree with Grant when he says we need to implement more originality focused teachings in education and even the workplace. While I still believe standardized testing is an important benchmark, uh, I think it's obvious that measuring everyone based on that single benchmark is probably not the best idea of summoning everybody's full potential. Now, moving on to the final topic of my book report, and that is whether or not I would recommend this book, and if I do, who I think would most benefit from reading it. I would recommend this book to pretty much anyone. It's an interesting read at its least, and an inspiring guide into how to change the world at its most. However, I would particularly recommend it to the dreamers of the world. It's easy to get wrapped up and stuck in your ways, such as a way of doing things or thinking about things. This is especially true in the world of business and accounting. We should not be afraid to think different, as Steve Jobs would say. And to conclude, if you've ever felt like the world as it exists today just does not live up to your standards or your ideals, and you really feel like your contribution could change it for the better, then this book is really for you. Finally, to conclude my presentation, I would like to give the book a score of 8 out of 10. I think it's informative while also being interesting, and I recommend it to just about everyone. In the future, I'll consider reading more from Adam Grant and will adopt some of the things I learned from the book into my own personal life. And lastly, here's my Works Cited tab showing the book. And thank you everyone for your time and watching, and I hope you learned something new from this presentation and that you enjoyed it.